All right, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
L Jarrell 388-538.
Gary, my name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Ms. Bonnie Jackson and Ms. Cheryl Knoxville will be your panel. I'll explain to read some information to the record, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
You have Miss Catherine Boundary here, Wanda Franklin, and
Okay.
Spikes here, and at the appropriate time to you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Okay.
All right.
Jarrell DOC number 388-538. Second class
Yes,
offender.
sir.
Date 5/2/2023. Good time date 7/30/2024. Full term
Yes.
date 1/25/2030. Your 30-year sentence
Yes, sir.
for second degree kidnapping, armed robbery. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. Would you answer Mr. Jackson's questions, please?
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Jarrell. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
How old are you?
44.
And how long have you been incarcerated on this charge?
23 years today.
And you had a total sentence of 30 years, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
And so you were 21?
Excuse me?
You were 20 or 21?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 21 years old. Yes, ma'am.
Help us understand what was going on in your life, because this was a really, really terrible crime.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
So why don't you explain to us what happened? Why, how did you end up committing this crime? What was going on around that time that brought all this into being?
Well, at that time in my life, I was just going through some things. I wasn't working and just didn't have no type of sense of direction, I guess, being young and stupid at the time. Just didn't really care. Yeah.
Let's back up. Have you graduated from high school?
I didn't graduate from high school, but I went to Job Corps in Texas and I got my GED
When did you go to Job Corps?
in 99. I think it was August of 99
How long did you stay in Job Corps?
for approximately 6 months.
And when you got back, what kind of work did you start doing?
I got a trade while I was in Job Corps as an electrician. I was working out there back and forth from the Job Corps stand there. And I ended up getting kicked out of the Job Corps because I failed a drug test. And that's what led me back to Baton Rouge.
How old were you when you started using drugs for the first time?
16, 15, 16, something like that.
And what kind of drugs were you using, Mr. Jarrell?
Marijuana,
That's all?
that's it. And I used to drink time to time, but marijuana mostly.
So how often did you drink? Did you have
Uh,
a problem, see?
Well, I would say it was a problem because I shouldn't have been drinking that young anyway, but my main problem was the marijuana. I smoked it day in and day out. You know,
Well, what kind of family did you come from?
I came from a good family. I was raised right, and I had family members that showed me love, that loved me and cared for me. But once I just got on my own, that's when I kind of went astray. I got on my own, hanging with the wrong crowd.
You know, if we could ever get the wrong crowd, we could stamp out a lot of crimes, because everybody hangs with the wrong crowd. Nobody ever acknowledges that they're the wrong crowd.
Well, right, you're right.
Okay. So let's talk about this crime, because tell us what happened, what you did in this armed robbery and kidnapping.
Well, I knew Mr. Allen, my victim in this crime, and I had contacted him under the impression of needing a ride for me and my co-defendant with the intent to rob him from his money in his car. And I basically called him up and he agreed to come give us a ride. And once he got there, because I thought he would have had a large amount of money on him, so we could get the car and go out to Mississippi to buy some drugs to resell, you know. And we got in the car, and that's when we pulled a gun out on gunpoint and told him to drive to the back street on one of the back streets, and got him out the car. And he didn't have any money on him that I thought he would have, but we got him out the car, placed duct tape on his hands and face. We put him in the trunk, ma'am.
Didn't y'all have him go to different ATM machines and try to withdraw some money?
Right, and he never gave us the correct PIN number, so I changed plans with that and went and drove out to East Feliciana. Well, he still tried to get the ATM PIN number. He wouldn't give it to us. So, but I was high at the time, and it went on for a couple of hours. So by the time
let's back up. Now you're telling me that the only thing that you used is marijuana. Marijuana doesn't typically, have the same effect as cocaine or other
right.
drugs. So I'm not sure how your smoking marijuana would have been a major factor in your decision making that day.
Well, I'm not saying marijuana is the major factor, but the major factor is that I wasn't working. I needed money, and that was
okay. But why weren't you working?
Just being lazy, wanting to hang out in the streets late at night, and couldn't get up early enough to go to work to keep a job, and just basically just wanting to hang out late in the streets and run the streets a lot, you know.
Put yourself in the shoes of the victim. What do you think when you all had him in the trunk of that car? What do you think he was thinking?
Now that I'm older, I'm thinking that he probably was thinking he was going to end up dying that night, and it was a horrible thing that I did. And
why did you all drive him out to a remote area and then have him get out of the trunk?
Because we wanted to get out of Baton Rouge, and I'm from that area, from Clinton also, East Feliciana, and he just went out there to try to stall for some time to try to get the PIN number, if he would relent and give us the PIN number, and we was going to eventually let him go. That was the intention, just to let him go after we got the money and the vehicle.
Why didn't he end up getting shot?
Yes, ma'am, and he was end up getting shot. I wish I had done, ma'am.
Who shot him?
My co-defendant, Lionel Gross.
Why was he shot?
Well, I don't know exactly why he did it, because I was like, just let him go. He don't have the money. He didn't want to give us the PIN number. I was like, just let him go. And Mr. Allen, he had tried to run and get away a couple of times, and I guess at just that point he kind of fell back over the bridge, and he just shot the gun at the last moment, like.
Just listening, it doesn't sound like y'all's plan was to let him go. Plan was to kill him, and fortunately he survived being shot in the hip.
No, ma'am, that wasn't the intention to hurt him at all. As far as killing him, he wasn't supposed to be shot. I mean, and in fact, I tried to stop it before that even happened. I just wanted to let him go.
Well, let's move forward, Mr. Jarrell. How have you spent your last 23 years? Tell me some of the programs that you've taken, and what have you gotten out of the last 23 years of incarceration?
I've taken pre-release, living in balance, men's work, in and outside dads, nurturing fathers.
You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
Ma'am,
How many children?
I have 2 children.
Do you have a relationship with those children?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of relationship? What do you mean you have a relationship with them?
I have a very good relationship with my kids. I talk to them weekly. In fact, my daughter just came up on the New Year's Day, brought my granddaughter up, let me spend time with her. And I have a good relationship. I was able to deter them from following in my footsteps, even though I'm in prison, for not to let my situation determine, them reaching their goals and dreams in life. My daughter just graduated. She's a nurse, so I'm proud of her for that. My son, he do what I do, mechanic work, and he's doing good, never been in trouble. So I always talk to him and, give him advice.
I do see that you have certificates in heavy equipment technician,
Yes, ma'am.
diesel mechanic.
Diesel
work.
mechanic. Yes, ma'am.
Your job at the prison?
Ma'am,
What's your job at the prison?
I'm a mechanic right now in prison. I work on a lot of the small engine stuff, but it's diesel engines. And after I'm done working, I weld in the welding hobby shop. But mainly I do mechanic work, continuing that, what I went
How
to
long-
school for.
How long have you been a mechanic at the prison?
Since I went through the diesel tech at the Votech over here, since 2006, I've been doing mechanic work.
How many write-ups have you had?
One?
And that was in 2012?
Yes, ma'am.
That was an aggravated disobedience?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what happened.
I had came in early from work one day at about 10:30. We had to go down and walk to the big kitchen to eat. But when the count cleared at noon, I left off the tip along with the pill call guys that go to pill call when I shouldn't have, because I don't take pill call, but I wanted to leave off and just go back to work. I wasn't going to the kitchen, but I got rolled up for that.
So what's the biggest lesson you've learned since being incarcerated?
The biggest lesson I learned is that I have to respect people and their property. I shouldn't commit crimes towards people. I know I was wrong for what I done, and I owned up to it. And I just learned that just go out and rebuild my life to be better and just treat everybody right and do the right things in life.
If you are successful today, what's your transition plan?
My transition plan is to go live with my auntie in ma'am.
Where she live?
She lives in Baton Rouge. And she agreed to let me come live with her. I'm gonna work for my little cousin, Cornisha. I refer to her as my sister. She been there since day one with me, and she owned a trucking company and agreed to give me a job. And if I decide that I want to drive, she'll get a truck for me to drive. But that's my plan, to go to work and
Why
do
not? Why
Ma'am?
not work? Why not work for a company where you can do mechanic?
my
work?
diesel mechanic. But that's my plan as well. But if I get out, if I'm successful and the second day I'm out, I want to go to work doing something until I can get an application in and get interviewed and get the job. That's my plan. Though I do plan to go and do heavy equipment mechanic work. You know.
Gordon, what can you tell us about Mr. Jarrell?
But that.
No, she's talking.
Oh, okay.
Well, Ms. Jackson, I mean, he's done about everything we could ask of him to do. He's taken many classes, victim awareness, anger management, substance abuse. He's a trustee, does a good job here at the prison. What I respect about him is that he takes ownership of what he did. You know, he says he came from a good family. He doesn't blame that on anything. He blames it on himself. He being lazy, being young, being lazy, doing drugs. So, you know, I think he's matured a lot, grown a lot. I think he has all the tools he needs to succeed. He could probably, you know, it wouldn't hurt him to continue on with his substance abuse, because that, even though it was, you know, marijuana, it's still something we'll keep him away from it. But I think he has the tools to succeed, and he has the right mindset.
I thank you, Warren. I appreciate your input. All right, Ms. Bell, that's all I have.
All right, we'll hear from Miss Catherine now. Valerie,
Okay.
podium there. Go ahead and make a brief statement. Thank you.
My name is Calvin Dowdy. He will be living with me at 1223 Lake Sherwood Avenue. No drugs there. That's not a drug area. He will have his own room, and I will support him fully. I work at the United States Postal Service. He's gonna be living with a retired police captain from Baton Rouge City Police. That's my husband. And we will accommodate him with all his needs that he will have to, but he needs to get back on track. And I'll be a guidance to him, but to me, he looked like he can guide me now. But, so whatever he can do, I'm there for him. And I'm quite sure my husband will be there too. So, yes, he came from a good family. I'm his mother's sister. And and my daddy and mother had 10 kids, 5 boys, 5 girls. All of us did something in life. None of us never went to bed. But, so he was brought up in the church, like he said, he's straight, means on the food. But now, you're like, to me, he got himself together. So,
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your comment. Now, Ms. Quenisha Spikes.
Good morning. I'm Quenisha Sykes. I'm his cousin, more like a sister. From the very beginning, he's been there with me and for me. And when I say the very beginning, I mean the very beginning, from the beginning on up. I can remember as early as being maybe like 2 or 3, and him having chicken pox, and the family trying to keep me away from him, but they couldn't because I loved him so much, and I ended up with chicken pox. He truly is an amazing individual who takes accountability. I have a 17-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. They know him as though he's been home this entire time. He's been there with them from the very beginning. He gives amazing advice. He does come from a good family, an educated family. His daughter is a nurse. I'm a speech pathologist. Our aunt, she graduated with her bachelor's in journalism. And I too have made stupid mistakes and decisions that I take accountability for. So we all make mistakes. I truly believe that he's going to come out and do amazing things. I'm an individual that owns a trucking company as well, and he would also be doing mechanic and diesel work with the truck because they're needed very often. As a matter of fact, we have an uncle who did it for us, but he passed away about 1 or 2 years ago, I believe. So we don't have anyone that does that anymore. So he would definitely do those things. But he is truly an amazing individual, and that's not me being biased at all. And we appreciate you guys giving us this opportunity.
All right, thank you so much for your time. All right, Gary, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I would like to just,
Okay, I'm sorry. It says no on here. Go ahead and speak. I apologize. Mr. Warren, Frank, wait, we're gonna let Mr. Warren Franklin speak. It says.
okay, oh, yeah.
But no. That's right here.
Good morning. I'm Taylor Wyman Franklin. I'm his daughter. But as long as I can remember, every time I visit, like this fall, this is the series. So basically, I feel like this majority of my life, where he's there to say he's incarcerated, he's always been there. Birthday cards, and I went to college. He worked hard for me to help me pay for college. So it's just a blessing having. I just hope he did come home. It's time he's been doing. He missed my whole life. So it's just, it's a good feeling to know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your comment. Sure. All right, Gary, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to apologize to the victim, his families, my family, especially to my daughter for not being there for her, being a man when I should have. And I learned throughout the years that I had to take ownership for what I done. That's why I turned myself in to the authorities. I had to make this right to give the victim and my family justice and closure for this horrible thing that I did. And I would never make a mistake like this again in life. I just want to be there with my family. I miss my kids, their young lives growing up as kids. My son was 8 months when I came to prison. And I thank God I was able to maintain a relationship with him and guide him. And my daughter, she doing good, as she said. And I just want to apologize to everybody that I hurt and let down. And I just ask for a second chance to do it over, to prove that I can be responsible and be good out there in the society if I'm released.
Right, thank
And
you. Thank you.
I just,
Ms. Pam, prepared to vote?
Yeah.
Ms. Jackson?
Mr. Jarrell, I have my notes on your case in front of me right now. And it started off with can you hear me?
it's breaking up, kind of.
Okay. I have my notes from your
Okay.
case,
Okay.
okay? And it started off with the crime itself, and I wrote, really awful crime.
Okay.
And then I moved from there to the opposition, and you have some opposition, but nothing that would be unexpected. They were unable to locate the victim for his input.
Okay.
And then I moved on to your prison record, and I looked at the things that you had done. And I said,
Yes,
you done good programs, you had a good institutional record, a good disciplinary record. And the last thing I wrote is, will Brett, depending on the interview and the comments from the warden.
Okay.
You interviewed well.
Okay. Thank you.
I was impressed by your honesty.
Yes, ma'am.
And the warden had really positive things to say about you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
he expressed confidence in your ability to be successful.
Yes, ma'am.
So because of your interview, because of the things you've accomplished, because of the faith that the warden has placed in you, my vote today,
Okay.
grant your early release.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Renata?
Mr. Jarrell, I enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed listening to your thing, based
Okay.
on very positive remarks by the warden, the hard work that you put in. You have a low risk score. My vote today is also.
Okay. Thank you.
You have 2 votes to grant your parole today. Because of the warden's comments, because of the good work that you've done, my vote today is to grant your parole as well.
Thank you, sir.
You'll attend NAAA 2 times a week.
Okay.
You'll do community service 4 hours per month. Give back to,
Okay.
and
Yes.
then you need to maintain full-time employment. Do you understand those stipulations?
Yes, sir. I understand.
3 votes to grant, your parole's been granted. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Let's unpack this. I
Today,
Okay.
oops.
grant
I this was I didn't think that this was going to be the outcome. Really just going through the crime of how terrible it was, and then emphasized by the fact that he said that he only smoked pot and drink, but mostly pot. And as Ms. Jackson pointed out, he then stated that well, he was high during the crime. And she's like, that's not a crime in so many words. And I'm thinking the same thing. And maybe all of you were also. I was like, oh, he just tripped up, and you can't get out when you just completely deny that you're doing other stuff. But I actually believe him, and the warden believes him, and the panel believes him. And where does the belief come from? Really, I think it just does come from his family. His got an impressive, wonderful, beautiful family. That, I mean, do you believe he's going to go be at home with the former sheriff? Man, how did he go wrong? He's serving a 30-year sentence for kidnapping and armed robbery, and he's been in for 23 years. He did this when he was really just a young kid, and he's, this is something that you can go down to, that this is like just hanging out with the wrong group. I mean, what they did was terrible. If the victim had come, and by the way, when they say that they couldn't locate the victim, we have seen another case where they couldn't locate the victim, and then in this follow-up hearing, the victims were there and said, how could you have not have located us? They were pretty upset, which they should be. So we don't know if they couldn't locate them for what reason. But certainly having the victim there could have affected something, maybe, I don't know. But to be essentially kidnapped, thrown in a trunk, in fear for your life that entire time, and then get shot, it is a terrible crime. Now, he's not the one that pulled the trigger. According to his story, he tried to stop it. He's taken full accountability. He turned himself in, which I think is very rare. And then he has served 23 years. And the point of prison, again, is to rehabilitate. He's got skills. He does welding. He's a diesel mechanic. I mean, he's set up to like really have a good job. He's not just going out there with nothing. In this case, frankly, I mean, with his beautiful family supporting him, and yes, I'm totally for parole here. Again, it was really like, is he lying about his drug use? And I love to hear your thoughts. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. But I think he's just hanging out with the wrong group and found himself in something that he did not sign up for. But I'm happy about this. He's to have someone like him out in the street and giving back to communities by talking to younger people, I think that would just be great. Younger people need positive influence. Someone who says, look, I messed up. I sat in prison. This is what it is. Don't do it. So I think this is all great. Love to hear your thoughts. Talk to you later.